What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another video. I am the Hobbyist, and today's video is going to be focused to the new guys in our hobby. And I'm going to be talking about when you're getting into RC, some of the costs involved, some of the items you're going to want to look at, and just overall what you're going to want to look towards if you want to get started in this hobby. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. So to start off, let's begin with one of the most important things you need to get into the hobby, which is an RC car. So this one right here, this is an Armor Voltage. It costs around $99 US. Don't quote me on that, prices change. But it's a very fairly beginner-friendly RC vehicle. It's rear-wheel drive. It's 2S LiPo compatible, so you can get some power of it. It's brushed electronics, very basic, but you get a decent amount for your money. So maybe you didn't get this. Maybe you got a different RC car. Maybe you got a four-wheel drive. Maybe you got a buggy instead of a monster truck. It doesn't matter. Just look at your RC car at first. Now, one recommendation I do have is don't bite off more than you can chew right at the beginning. If you decide you want to get like a big 8-scale nitro racing buggy at first, there's a lot of responsibility that comes into owning one of those. Maybe you got into this hobby because your friend lets you drive his RC car. That's great. Start off with something a little bit more speed, and this is a great option for the price of it. The next thing that you want to look at after you get your RC car is a battery. Now, most RCs don't come with batteries. Some do, but most don't. Now, another thing is most modern RCs, brushed or brushless, are usually LiPo compatible as well as nickel metal compatible. That is not always the case. Make sure to check your manufacturer's instruction manual to see what it's compatible with. But when you're looking for a battery, you want to look for a couple things. First of all, make sure that the size of it will fit inside the RC truck. Make sure that the battery tray will accommodate a battery that size. Second of all, make sure that the plug is the same. Now, disclaimer up front, this is a Traxxas plug. This has a Traxxas plug on it at the moment. It doesn't come with one. It comes with a Dean's connector. Just heads up if you want to look into this truck. But anyway, when looking for a battery, make sure that the voltage is compatible with your RC car as well as the chemistry. Again, this is both LiPo and nickel metal compatible. However, this is one that I let other people drive, so I run it on a nickel metal battery, which is a little bit less power, but it'll get the job done. Now, equally as important in the battery is a battery charger. Now that you've got the car and the battery, it's time to look at a charger. Now, some batteries may come with a wall charger. You just don't want to use those. It's a good idea to get a modern fast charger because those wall chargers take 12 hours to charge a battery. This will do it in half an hour. Now, you don't have to get something as fancy as this, but you do want to look for a couple of things in a charger. First, you want a multi-chemistry charger. Multi-chemistry means it can charge different types of batteries. It can charge nickel metals, LiPos, LiFe's, NiCads, those types of batteries. Because you want to plan ahead, because chances are if you're really getting into the hobby, you're eventually going to upgrade your battery to a higher powered LiPo battery or LiFe battery. So get a multi-chemistry battery charger. One you also want to look for is one that you can attach multiple plugs to. So it uses a standard 4mm banana clip, and with that you can charge all sorts of different batteries with. Maybe you see a multi-charger. Those are good too, but if you're just starting out, it's okay to get a single port charger. But if you're planning ahead, look into a dual charger. Those are also very, very nice. Now that you've got the basics covered, let's talk about tools. Now, your RC probably came with a little tool pack that looks something like this. It's just a couple little L-style Allen wrenches. Maybe it came with a T-wrench like this. And they'll get you going, but trust me from experience, these hurt your hands when you're trying to wrench on your RC car. Don't use them. Instead, go to your local hobby shop and find a nice set of hex drivers. For example, here is my set. This is a set from Dynamite RC, and you can get a bunch of different sizes from them, but they're screwdriver style, so they're much more comfortable. You can get a lot more torque on them, and they just are much nicer on your hand. Now, this will cost a little bit, but trust me, if you try to spend months using those Allen keys, you're going to want these. So definitely look into a nice set of hand tools, as well as maybe you find this in your dad's tool chest. a little nut driver that has replaceable heads. So you get a 7mm bit and a 5.5mm bit. Those are the most common hex nuts that you're going to use. This one's configured for like wheel nuts, because again, you get a lot more torque out of this than your T-wrench, and it'll be a whole lot more comfortable. The final tool that I would say you definitely want to get right off the bat is a set of needle nose pliers, because there's a lot of parts in your RC car like pins and small screws that you will need to be able to grab with these pliers. So they're just, again, you can find these cheap at any hardware store, or you could probably find them in your dad's toolbox as well. Definitely get a set of these. So if you've been keeping track on costs so far, assuming you use similar gear to this, you're about $150 in parts without the cost of the car. But there's one more thing you might want to look at, and that is spare parts. This isn't as important for rock crawlers if you're getting into those, but for bashers, believe me, you are going to want to get spare parts for your car. It's just the nature of RC. You drive them fast, you drive them hard, things will break every now and again. So it's good to look at spare parts like suspension arms and steering knuckles, things like that. Now, I'm not talking about upgrade parts, I'm talking about spare parts to replace the existing ones when they break. Upgrading is a whole different segment, and you can get into that once you financially recovered from the initial buy. But with that being said, that is pretty much everything I recommend that you get in order to get into RC. There are tons of other things that you could look at right off the bat, like shock pliers and bearing removers and all these fancy RC specific tools. But you don't need to get those right away. Starting with these basic tools and these basic components for your RC car will make your RC experience much more fun right off the bat, and I guarantee you will enjoy it more. One more thing I want to point out, if you decide to buy a more expensive car out of the box, like for example this is a Team Associated RC8. This is a 4-wheel drive 1/8 scale brushless buggy. And this is much more expensive, and with the extra cost of the car, the costs for maintaining it will go up. You're going to want to get a bigger battery, and you're going to want to get some more parts and more tools to maintain this. But again, I don't recommend that anybody start with a car like this, because this is just too much to handle for anyone who's never been in the RC hobby before. So anyway guys, that's going to do it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, please hit that like button, subscribe, and leave a comment in the section below for what videos you'd like to see next. But that's all for today, everybody, and I'll see you in the next one.